either create a short documentary or like a short film exploring the reliance society has with technology. So pretty much the whole project is going to be like primary research. So it's going to be like a continuous research sort of thing, and then the end project's just going to be a big evaluation thing, really. So they're just some of my initial thinking ideas. So, video's not working, but 3 years ago there was this video which is called Look Up, and it was about, it was this guy who sort of created a video about how much we look at our phones and how we should really look up more and just take in what's around us, and it's sort of my main inspiration behind this. And then, as I've said before, the majority of the project will be primary research. However, I've done the questionnaire and asked family and friends to complete it. So one of the questions was, what technology do you have at home? And as expected, nearly everybody has a phone. I don't really know what to say. I'm just sort of rambling.
No, go ahead, go back.
And it's sort of, I think these results sort of show how much technology we have at home, I suppose.
And I suppose all the phones will be smartphones as well.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. And then to follow on to that question, I've sort of asked what they use on a daily basis. And again, the phone is the most popular result, but I was surprised that it wasn't 100% the result, because, well, I kind of thought we would all use our phones at least once a day, but obviously not. And then again with the internet, I was surprised at this because, well, I think if I was to see how long I spent on the internet, I'd be quite surprised. But there's quite a few people who said that they're on the internet for less than an hour, and that was quite surprising as well. But when I looked at the age gap on the questionnaire, there's quite a few who were like over 50.
Right.
So that's probably why there's little in there below 5 hours.
And are the people who were on it more, are they the younger generation?
I mean, that one results don't really explain it well enough. I'll probably go into better detail about that. But, and then what to use the internet for is social media, which was no surprise really. And then I also put in like another option, and quite a few people said online shopping. So that's sort of within the idea of not going out into reality and doing it yourself, you're getting other people to do it for you. 85% said that they rely on technology on a daily basis. And then I also asked, do you think you should have a day without technology? And the majority said yes. But I'm going to try and put this to the test by doing a digital detox. So my plan is for myself to do a 24-hour digital detox to see how I manage without my phone and that. And then I'm going to ask other people to partake. So maybe get somebody to do a digital detox for like 2 hours and then increase it and see how everybody copes without a phone or technology. And then my main inspiration for that was a author and blogger called Estée Lalonde, who did a 48 digital detox. And that was some more inspiration. One was an actual college student who did the same idea as me, but she just did it on herself for a whole week. And it was quite interesting to see because she's a media student and all of her work's online. So then she said, at the end she said she felt really productive and that, but she couldn't do any of her work because everything was online. So it's sort of how we're moving into an online world rather than and then alongside this I'm going to do some interviews as well, just to get people's initial thoughts and feelings on technology. The interviews are aimed to see how the individual views social media and technology, whereas the digital detox will see how the individual responds to it. And then as for secondary research, I've just been annotating some articles to see what other people's opinions are, and within the articles there's quite a few facts and interesting quotes which I might be able to use later on. And then they're just some useful websites I've come across. And then as part of managing my time on the internet, I've also downloaded these 2 apps. One's called Checky and one's called Moments, and they just monitor how long you're on your phone for and see how long you should really be on it. And it's quite shocking how much I'm on the phone, to be honest, and it sort of made me think I should put down the use of it.
It's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I think it's something that affects, even though I'm older, I'm on my phone a lot. And probably your generation are on your phone because you use a lot more social media. So I think what you could add to is maybe looking into young people, kind of do a focus on young people as well, to find out how much they're in on their phones or on technology rather than physically being sociable and being out, because I think that's changing quite a bit. When I was young, there wasn't any of that stuff, so we went to cinema, we went out, so there was it was a physical thing where we were speaking to people, but I think that's changing quite a bit, because your generation wouldn't necessarily go out at the weekend, would you? You would. Like to stay in. So because you've got something that you can use that in your rooms, and so looking at that, I think so, and also focusing it on any kind of problems associated with that, such as, because I know, like, I've got a presentation later on, and what I've said is that what you did with the 48-hour film challenge was really good. The fact that you contacted a specific organisation to work with, that's something that you could all think about doing, is like taking it into the community and working with an organisation and say, if you've got an issue-based film, so that's obviously about the rise of technology, but you could also look in terms of like mental health problems or isolation or bullying, and look at organisations on the net that deal with those kind of things, and work with them and get them to help you with your ideas. Good afternoon, Ollie. Come in. Have you got your presentation ready for your FMP idea?
No.
Right, just go through to Claire's class and just work on that then. You can do it in the afternoon.
I should probably go to like an more, to be honest.
Alright. So work with local organisation. How did you get on with Let It Go?
Fine. Yeah, I mean, I sent it off to them, but they haven't replied yet.
Right.
But then when I sent it, I got an email straight back saying that the lady I've been in contact with is on annual leave or something like that, so she's maybe on holiday. You might not get it for a while.
Right.
Yeah, it was fine, really.
Yeah. Just Johnny, Ben, what?
I like the idea, and I like research and things. You said it's going to be a short documentary.
Yeah, I'm
So
yeah.
have you got any ideas of how it's going to, like, what form it's going to take, any style?
Not yet.
No.
No. I just thought I'd do the research and then.
Research is good. They've done a lot of thorough research on it. So. What style of the videos that you're going to play? What were they like? Are they?
They're just vlogs. I mean, I'm assuming everybody's seen the Look Up one. Is there? No? Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. That was sort of like an artsy video, but these were just vlogs and just sort of recording how they like one of them's like they always use their alarm clock, their phone as their alarm clock, so when they went to bed they're like, oh, I need to go and buy myself an alarm clock, and it's sort of their problems are recorded throughout the day, so that's probably how I'll do it as well with the vlog. So
Go to if you just minimise your presentation. If you go onto YouTube or Google, you could put the look up one on. Some of us might not have seen it.
Am I still recording this, Debbie?
Yeah.
Alright.
oh, thank you.
Is it working?
Hello, so I've just finished completing my digital detox, my media and cultural studies class. And for the detox, what we had to do was to cut out all forms of digital media. So the ones that I decided to cut out were my phone, my laptop, my iPad, but then I also decided to cut out some non-digital media just to make it a bit harder for myself and to make it a bit more of a challenge. So I decided to not use any academic textbooks, any normal books, magazines, and to try as my hardest to avoid any other forms of visual media. So be that be billboards, posters, advertising, and all the rest. So as for the overall experience, I did find it harder than I thought I would. locking your phone away is not something that will come natural to you, because I have not ever had to do that before. I've had a phone since I was about 10 or 11, so 10 years of being used to having your phone in a pocket, and then for it just to not be there is just weird. And the same with the connection to the internet. You're just so used to being able to look something up or find something out or text your friends over the internet or anything just at the click of a button, and then for it just not to be there is a weird sensation. During the day I found myself just being kind of lost with what to do. I was going to go to the library and do revision because some of my friends that have done the digital detox as well just ended up doing that, but then I realised that I couldn't because I was surrounded by books which I'd kind of eradicated. So I just decided to take myself outside. I did it on a Sunday because I didn't have lectures, so I knew I wouldn't be having to look at lecture slides and do that sort of thing, which involves the media. So I found one of my flatmates who was around. We just went out for a walk and then ended up bumping into one of my other friends. So then we all just went out for lunch together, which was really nice. And it was nice as it would have been something that I wouldn't have ended up doing on a Sunday anyway. Because on Sundays, everyone just tends to just shut themselves away in their rooms most of the day and then kind of come out in the evening and just watch TV. But then it was nice to kind of reconnect with people in a different way and just be able to do something which was quite spontaneous and didn't involve planning because I couldn't literally plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good breadth of research that you've done, and it's good that you've used primary and secondary. So yeah, you've got some good ideas. So where do you want to go from here? What do you want to go? What's your plan next?
I think I've got quite a few friends interested in doing the interviews and digital detoxes, so I think I'll just try and arrange that and get them done, and then see what evidence and research I've got from there, and then maybe try and compare that, and then find something else to do. But at the moment, I think if I get the interviews and digital detoxes done, I can tick that off my list and maybe dig into something else that somebody else has said and work on that.
What about in terms of distribution and exhibition?
I haven't thought that far, I'll be honest.
You've been putting it on social media.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
really.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that when I was doing it, I was like, all my research is online, so maybe I should go and get some books and.
Yeah, we're going to do that next week. We're going to go to the university library next week. Have you been up? You haven't been up here, have you? No. I usually take you up earlier, but last year the art college disgraced themselves by not bringing back books, and then the college had to pay a massive big fine. But it wasn't our course; it was the arts course, so it was a bit like. Oh, I think they'll have us, but I think they're okay about us coming back. So, so yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I think that what the Johnny and Ben are picking up on is how you're going to present your information. So whether it's going to end up being a vlog, or whether it's where you a vlog type documentary, or so maybe to look into documentary formats as well, and what would be the appropriate format way to film it. So, yeah, do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good if once you've filmed it as well, if you had like a story work through it. So on that at the end, it was like she was just talking to the camera and it was a bit meandering. Maybe if you had like an actual, if you plotted it in it told people a story. I think that'd be really good.
Have you had some reenactment, like you used an actor?
Yeah, reenactments, or if you could intercut that with interviews from people and how they found it, and maybe a bit more exciting and flashy, but yeah.
Especially if you're basing it on an issue like the effects of the mental health issues, or the effects of feeling of eating disorders, say, because you're online all the time and you're looking at certain types of images and representations and things like that. So it would be good to have that. Maybe I think you're right. It might add something. I always think if you've got some kind of parameter, but then it depends on what type of documentary you're going to do.
It's just good documentary form and practice, isn't it? It's like that scientist experiment, but you've got to state your case,
Yeah.
show you're working out, and show your conclusion. I think it's more developed than that kind of what her film.
Yeah, because that's basically a vlog, isn't it? And she's not, and you kind of lose interest after a bit when she's
It's not
talking.
backed up by anything other than
Her ideas.
her
Yeah, that's true. So if you're going to present information, make sure it's backed up by fact, or even have interviews with people like professionals, Darren, because he loves social media, or trying to get an interview where you can have some kind of statistics to refer to. That'd be good. Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, but yeah, it's an interesting topic. Definitely, it's very relevant.